Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're breaking down how you can play like BOLTZ, one of the most consistent solo players in Fortnite. BOLTZ gameplay is flashy, but it's also highly effective. He's all about calculated plays, smart rotations, and consistently placing in every single match. If you're looking to climb ranked, win tournaments, or just improve your solo performance, these tips inspired by BOLTZ are perfect for you, so watch to the end to get all the tips. First tip is stay calm under pressure. BOLTZ is super calm, even when the game gets crazy. Like, if you're boxed up and someone's spraying SMG shots at you, don't freak out. Keep moving so they can't track you easily. Basically, make them waste all their bullets and mats while you stay safe. When you're healing, use brick or metal because they're tougher than wood. Save your wood for later when you need to build fast. If you watch BOLTZ play, you'll see that he's super patient. He never wastes mats or charges in recklessly. Instead, he keeps moving and makes it harder for his opponent to track his builds or predict his edits. He waits for his enemies to mess up and then he strikes. Staying calm is like a superpower and can help you win more fights without wasting any resources. He also can be super flashy and catch his opponents off guard, which is another banger thing from BOLTZ. Alright, now we're gonna go into his positional awareness. BOLTZ always knows where he is on the map. He's all about positioning himself in the safest and smartest spot. For example, he rotates early so he doesn't get stuck fighting other players when the storm is moving. Plus, he likes to hang out near high ground or natural cover, like hills and buildings. This gives him the upper hand in any fight. And when you're rotating, don't run out in the open like a noob. Use trees, rocks, or even bushes to stay hidden. BOLTZ also scouts out what other players are doing before he moves. He'll stop, look around, and figure out the safest path. BOLTZ sometimes even rotates alongside the storm edge when he knows it's safer. If you start rotating like this and use your environment, you'll die a lot less in your games. Trust me, this makes such a big difference in how long you survive in your endgames. Alright, now we're going to talk about consistency and not flash. A lot of players go for crazy eliminations and end up dying really early in ranked or tournaments, but BOLTZ doesn't do that. He's all about surviving and placing high. In the early game, instead of fighting everyone, he's farming mats and grabbing loot to set himself up for the mid to late game. It's not as exciting, but it works. And then when he does get into mid and late game, he can clip people because he knows how to end fights really quick. But also when he does fight, he's super calculated. He knows when to push and when to back off. He doesn't waste his mats or ammo, and he's always thinking about the next zone. BOLTZ even skips fights if they don't benefit him, or he might leave him in a bad spot. If you want to be consistent, stop chasing eliminations all the time, focus on surviving until the final circles, and you'll get way more points. Winning isn't about flash, it's about lasting the longest and getting the most kills. Alright, now we're going to learn how to read opponents quickly. BOLTZ is like a mind reader. When it comes to his enemies, he can figure out their playstyle in just a few seconds. Are they aggressive, defensive, camping in a bush? BOLTZ adjusts his strategy based on what they're doing. For example, if someone is overbuilding like crazy, BOLTZ doesn't waste time trying to outbuild them. Instead, he'll wait for them to run out of mats and catch them off guard. If his opponent is scared or hiding, he'll push them and take control of the fight. Sometimes BOLTZ uses fake outs, like pretending to disengage when striking when his opponents relax. Pay attention to how other players act, and you'll start winning more fights by predicting their next move and being able to counteract them way sooner. Alright, next is pre-piecing and box control. This is one of the most important things in Fortnite. Pre-piecing is one of BOLTZ's secret weapons. It's when you place builds around your enemy before they even know what's happening. This gives you total control of the fight. For example, if BOLTZ is above someone's box, he'll place a cone and floor above so they can't build up. Another cool trick he uses is sneaking a wall or cone into an enemy's box while they're distracted. Once he's in control, he edits and traps them. BOLTZ also sets up traps to bait his opponent into taking bad moves, like making them think they're safe and then boxing them in. If you want to get good at this, spend time in creative practicing your edits and piece control. It'll make a huge difference in your fights when you're the one controlling how they play. I also just made a video on the perfect routine that's under an hour to get better at Fortnite every single day, and it's all set up for you, so make sure you go check out that video after this video. Alright, next is his awareness. BOLTZ has crazy awareness. He knows where his enemies are and what they're doing. A lot of that comes from listening to his sound cues. He can hear footsteps, reloading, or even someone healing and use that info to plan his next move, like key them or play more defensive. If you want to be like BOLTZ, you have to always have a good headset and crank up your volume. Never listen to music while you're playing tournaments, and listen for every little sound. Also use it to predict what your enemies are going to do. And once again, always keep an eye on your surroundings. Always look for players sneaking up on you or rotating nearby. BOLTZ often pairs sound cues with quick peeks to confirm enemy positions, so he doesn't rely on sound alone. Being aware can save your life in Fortnite and keep you one step ahead of your enemies. I also just made an awareness video, my past video, so go check it out after this video as well. Alright, resource management. Running out of mats is one of the worst things that can happen to you in Fortnite, and BOLTZ is amazing at managing his resources, so he's never stuck with zero materials. He farms a ton in the early game and avoids wasting mats in unnecessary fights, unless he's going for clips obviously. BOLTZ also knows exactly how many mats he needs to survive the late game. He'll make smart plays to conserve his builds, like reusing old builds during rotations, and he doesn't panic build unless it's absolutely necessary. Plus, Plus, BOLTZ keeps track of his loot throughout the game, making sure he's always stocked on mats and ammo. If you want to improve your resource management, pay attention to how much you're using in fights and creative, just so you guys can get a visual awareness of what you're using. And try to farm more and waste less. It makes all the difference for your mid to late games. Alright, aim wins your fights. BOLTZ's aim is super consistent, and that's a big reason why he wins so many fights. He doesn't miss his shots, especially with shotguns and SMGs or the new ARs this season. To get aim like him, you'll want to spend a lot of time in creative practicing your aim, or even aim trainers like Kovacs or aim labs. Another thing BOLTZ does is keep his crosshair at head level. This way, when he takes a shot, it's more likely to hit for big damage. He also practices flick shots and tracking, so he's ready for any kind of fight. Practice this in your games and you'll notice you're hitting way more headshots. Good aim can be the difference between winning and losing a fight, especially in high pressure situations and mid-game and end-game fights. Also, using an AR and having good aim can give you that initial damage you need to start a fight and win the fight quick. If you get that initial entry damage on someone, you will have the upper hand to be able to cook them no matter what. That's how he gets so many clips, is because he can just beam someone and then go for the clip on him and one pump him easily. Getting that initial damage is what sets so many pros apart from regular players, because they get them so low before the fight is even started. Alright, now we're gonna learn how to review from our games. BOLTZ is always improving because he learns from his mistakes. He watches replays, studies his opponents, and figures out what he could have done better. And if you want to get better, don't just grind games. Take the time to analyze what went wrong and how you can fix it. For example, if you keep dying in the same situation, figure out why you're dying in that situation. Are you rotating late? Wasting too many mats? BOLTZ also watches replays to learn new tricks from other players. Watching your own gameplay can help you spot mistakes and improve faster. Also, watch pros like BOLTZ to see how they handle tough situations once again, and how they can stay so calm under pressure. There's always something new to learn, and learning from your mistakes is the fastest way to improve. Another thing BOLTZ does really good is playing really aggressive. BOLTZ knows when to play smart and defensive, but he also is not afraid to turn up the aggression when the situation calls for it. When he sees an opportunity to eliminate a weak or distracted player, he goes all in no matter what. BOLTZ's aggressive plays are calculated and not reckless. He knows exactly when and how to push for maximum impact. For example, if an opponent is low on health or resources, BOLTZ immediately applies pressure. He'll spray their builds with an SMG or AR, forcing them to waste mats, and then time his edits perfectly to catch them off guard. BOLTZ also uses mobility items to quickly close the gap and finish off fleeing enemies. One of his best aggressive strategies is controlling the pace of the fight. He'll edit quickly, make unexpected plays, and keep his opponents guessing, never giving them a chance to reset. BOLTZ also loves third-partying fights, which I go over in every video, jumping into engagements where both players are already weak. This aggressive style lets him rack up eliminations and dominate matches without giving his enemies time to react. And if you want to play more like BOLTZ, don't be afraid to go on the offensive when you have the upper hand. Learn to recognize opportunities, push with confidence, and end fights quickly to maintain control of the game. And that's how you can start playing like BOLTZ, the most consistent player in solo Fortnite tourneys. His strategies may seem simple, but they're super effective when you can actually do them. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe and use my code NOFLO in the Fortnite item shop. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I love you all. Peace, guys.